Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and I'm here to do the rookie guide video for you all this evening. This is going to be the pre-tournament guide, and I will focus on holes 1 through 9. We'll talk about the different routes that you can play on some of these holes. We'll talk about club selection, ball selection, and also elevation change during this video. Now, as you all are aware, you are unable to play these holes from the first tee, so if you are someone that has not played these holes before, and this definitely could be a very useful video for you to kind of familiarize yourself with the holes to a point where you can feel a little bit more comfortable when you start to play them on Monday in the qualification round. You will have 3 days to qualify, as always, and if you qualify, you play in the opening round on Thursday and Friday. In that round, you get 48 hours to play your 18 holes, qualify in the top 50% of your bracket there, and then you get to move to the weekend round, and you have 48 hours once again to finish your round there. So we are going to now move into the guide portion of this video, and we will start with hole number 1. Be right back. Alright, so we got hole number 1 here. We're going to go ahead and start this guide. Hole number 1. And we start this off with a par 4. This par 4 offers 2 different ways to play it. First off, from the tee box, you're going to be playing 20%. And you're going to be playing 20% no matter which way you play this hole, to the left or to the right. The first way we're going to talk about playing is to the right side, which is going to be a very common way that you see played this tournament, especially if you have a tailwind. You will be taking your extra mile or possibly your big topper. You will need to use a power 3 ball. I would recommend a power 3 ball because it's important to get your ball down past this tree line right here. If you can't get past that tree line, then you have to deal with hitting it over through these trees. Definitely can cause some issues. So off the tee box, you want to try to get down past that line. You'll be bouncing somewhere in there, and then hopefully rolling to somewhere in this zone right here. As you can see from here, you have a clear path to the hole. Behind this line, not so much. You got to go through those trees. Definitely want to avoid having to go through those trees. For your second shot to the hole, plus 10%. I would recommend trying to land your shot somewhere on this fairway towards the hole. That's going to give you the most consistent bounce and give you the best chance to possibly drop that eagle. Now, if you're going to play to the left side, if we have some sort of a nice side wind or maybe some sort of a headwind, you'll be playing your landing zone in this area right here, and you'll actually be going through these trees. Now, you'll be going through these trees to a rough bump situation with a lot of top spin and a lot of left spin because you want to bounce out of that rough and then let your ball roll down the fairway to hopefully somewhere in this zone right here. Possibly, if you mishit your ball, you can end up farther to the right, behind these trees. You still have a shot to the green. It just won't be as direct of a shot to the green. So definitely, you want to hit that ball perfect. You want to use top spin and left spin to really position yourself in a good spot for the second shot. Now, you want to use at least 4 to 5 bars of top spin and max left spin on that drive for sure. So definitely take a ball that has some side spin to it. Quasar or Katana ball are 2 balls that, just off the top of my head, kind of seem like they would be a good fit. You could also use a Kingmaker as well if you wanted to use that as well, but I don't usually ever suggest using a Kingmaker ball in the rookie. I would save those balls for farther into your game. So for your second shot from this left side, you're going to play plus 10% for the shot, and you are playing your shot up to this little fairway area right here. No matter which of those spots you are at, If you play it from the right side spot over here behind the trees, you'll have to add some right spin to direct that ball to the hole. Maybe a little bit of curl. But if you're fortunate enough to have your ball down there at the bottom of the fairway, then you'll have a straight on shot to the pin, and then have a really good chance at that eagle. If you have a tailwind or side wind, you're going to play somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1 bar topspin. If you have a headwind, you're going to up that up. You're going to up that topspin a little bit to about 1.5 bars. And you know, you're going to be playing with a long iron for your second shot from the left side, and then on the right side, you know, for your second shot, it's going to depend how far you can get down that fairway. It could be a long iron, or it could be a short iron. That's hole number 1. We move on to hole number 2. So we got hole number 2 here. It's our first par 3 of the tournament, and it can be a difficult par 3, but if you know how to play it correctly, I think it's a pretty manageable par 3. We're going to play plus 30% on the drive, and basically that means you're going to add an extra 30% to your wind. So if you have 5 miles per hour wind, you're going to add 1.5 extra miles per hour, 0.5 for every 10%. So that would go from 5 miles per hour up to 6.5 miles per hour, and you would adjust your rings as if you were playing a 6.5 miles per hour wind. And that's how you calculate in elevation adjustment. So the 2 ways you can play this hole from this first tee, either this spot right here or the rough bump right here. Now, to me, the angle from the rookie tee makes the rough bump a little bit more difficult. So if you are going to try the rough bump, you're definitely going to have a higher side spin ball, because you're definitely going to need to use some side spin for that shot. The rough bump plays somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 bars of top spin and at least 5 bars of right spin, just because of that angle right there. You're going to need that extra side spin to the right. Now, if you want to play the shot here off this fairway section, that is definitely a way to play it. You can use your long iron. The backbone would definitely be a great club to use. And you're going to use somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 bars of topspin. And you want to kind of aim that ball guide to be about 3 to 4 squares short of the pin. So somewhere right in there is where you want the end of that ball guide to be. And just trying to get that nice roll out to the pin, playing your shot that way. Do remember, like I said, plus 30% is going to be your elevation change for that shot. There's also the possibility, if you do have a guardian shot with at least 8 bars of backspin, you could play a guardian shot more towards the green and possibly play the hole that way. In my opinion, the guardian shot would be the last shot that I would recommend looking into. I just think the other 2 shots have a better quality of a possible ace. That's just my opinion as far as this hole goes. But definitely a few options to play, and it just depends on how you want to play the shot. So if you're going to play the shot bouncing off the fairway, you know, you don't need really side spin or a lot side spin. So navigator ball or something like a Marlin would definitely be sufficient. But if you want to play the rough bump, you gotta ratchet up the side spin a little bit. So you definitely like the Katana, Quasar, or another ball with a good amount of side spin. That would definitely be my suggestion right there. All right, moving right along, we got hole number 3 is next. This is a very interesting par 5, one that will give some people troubles. Plus 20% off the tee box is what I would suggest playing. I like the extra mile, but you could probably play this shot with the quarterback as well if you had a quarterback with a little bit of top spin. As far as your ball choice goes, I gotta say, with the Katana ball or the Titan ball, you want to have a ball that has some side spin capabilities and a little bit of power. For your wood club, I'm going to suggest that most rookies bring your big dog. Now, if you are playing rookie with a little bit higher level Viper or even Sniper, then you could possibly use those two clubs, but you definitely want to have at least 170 in power for the shot. So if you have clubs with lower than 170 in power, just go ahead and take the big dog. You'll thank me later. You'll have the easy eagle. So, plus 20% off the tee box. We're looking to land our shot right in that area off the tee box. Top spin and right spin, you want that ball guide to be trailing somewhere in that zone right there, so that when you bounce over and you hit, you roll out to somewhere in that location. You don't want to go too far, for sure, and you definitely want to stay out of these bunkers, no doubt about it. So just try to concentrate on getting your shot up that fairway into a good location. Now, you ask, what about curl? Curl really depends on the type of wind that you have. If you have left to right wind, you really don't have to worry about curl so much because the ball is naturally going to be taking that left to right path with that wind. If you have right to left wind, that's when you have to start thinking about the curl because you do want to make sure that you don't let that ball, get pushed into that bunker or that rough to the left side. So if you have right to left wind, I definitely go with curl for sure. And probably I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of a half a ball or whatever your driver can do. Depending on what level driver you have, you may have curl, you may not have curl. So definitely does depend on the equipment that you have to use. So for your second shot, 0%. There is 0% elevation adjustment for this shot. You'll be landing your shot in this zone right here. Be careful of these trees. Do not use left curl on this shot. Or do not use curl into these trees on this shot. It will eat your ball up. So, do not use right curl on this shot. Left curl would be okay. Probably not needed though to use on this shot. It's the right curl that can get you in trouble. So for the shot, somewhere in the neighborhood of 0 to 2 bars of top spin, and when you use about 4 bars of right spin, you want to take your ball over this rough, bounce it right there on the fringe of that fairway, and then let the ball roll down to the green. This green is slanted pretty severely. So as long as you get your ball with any kind of speed onto that green, the ball's more than likely going to roll down to the pin for a really nice putt. You do want to make sure you don't get stuck in the rough or the fairway short of this green. I would say, in my opinion, that chip to the hole is one of the toughest short chips in the game. So definitely, if you're going to miss long for a long putt, you do not want to be taking a long chip from the top of that green. I promise you, you do not want to be taking that chip. Some of the best players in the game have troubles with that chip. All right, that was hole number 3. Next up, we got hole number 4. And we have our second par 3. So this par 3 right here is not a par 3 that we have seen a lot of times or seen recently. As far as your clubs go, I would definitely recommend a Viper or a Sniper for this hole. You could possibly go for a rough bump attempt as well on this hole, and for that shot, you want something really accurate. So most likely, the quarterback would be my suggestion. So if you're going to be playing the shot up the middle, this would be a shot with the Sniper or the Viper. You'd be laying your shot somewhere in this zone right here. You'd be coming up along the left edge of this bunker, landing your shot just over the fringe, and then rolling your shot to the hole. That's definitely a shot that's possible. You're not going to use a lot of backspin or topspin on that shot. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 0 topspin or 0 spin to 1 bar of backspin. And then you're going to use side spin as you need to use it. 10% plus 10% is going to be your elevation adjustment off this tee, just so you all know. Now, if you're going to play it to the right side, If you have like a right to left wind, you play it to the right side. You can bounce it over in this zone right here, over this rough, and then bounce it towards the hole. If you have a left to right wind, you can play your shot over here. Most likely, though, that type of shot is not going to be played in the lower level divisions. I think rookies are going to be concentrating on this middle shot with a sniper, or this right side shot, with their wood. Now, talking about the rough bump. If you want to try to play the rough bump, you're definitely going to want to take a ball with some side spin to it. And you're basically going to be laying your shot in this zone right here. That's where the rough bump plays. Right there into that zone. Right there. Right there in the middle of that rough. So from there, you're going to be playing somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4 bars of backspin and left side spin. The amount of backspin you use definitely will depend on the wind direction that we have for the tee shot. So tailwind, more backspin, side headwind, less backspin on that shot. Those are the ways to play this hole. They all work. I think, you're going to see a lot of people playing this shot right here, this shot right here, and then the rough bump will be the third method you see playing. The shot to the left-hand side, most likely you won't see it played. It's played with, drivers with lots of backspin, and usually played more in the higher level divisions. And I don't think the rookies have to worry about that shot. But do remember, plus 10% for these drives off this tee box. Moving on. Hole number 6 is next. Or no, hole number 5 is next. Sorry about that. Hole number 5 is next, and it's par 4. Another tough par 4 to get the eagle on. For this hole right here, you definitely want to take a driver with some distance, so your extra mile is good here. For your second club, depending on the way you play it, you could be using a Viper, a Goliath, or a Thorn for this next shot. For your ball, Quasar or a Titan, and at least a Titan. Off the tee box, plus 10%. Now, multiple ways again to play this shot. You can play your shot to the left-hand side here with about 2 bars of topspin. Now, the trick with this left side is you gotta have enough to get the shot over that rough and those bushes. But you don't want to have too much topspin because you can roll through this fairway into this rough. Definitely don't want to do that. So 2 bars of topspin is about the correct amount to get you far enough up that fairway, but not risk rolling into the rough. From there, you're going to have a long iron approach to the pin. And, if you want to go with the Goliath or a Saturn, that's definitely up to you. The Saturn is going to give you more backspin abilities. The Goliath is going to give you more distance. So if you don't particularly hit the drive as well, you'll still be okay with the Goliath. Other options, playing to the right side, trying to get the ball far up this fairway here. And then from there, you're going to have most likely a long iron or a wood shot that you skip over this bunker and the rough, land it here, and then roll it to the hole. That will be your option for playing it to the right side. You want about 4 to 6 bars of topspin to that right side, playing it to the end of that right fairway. Now, if you want to try to play the power hook shot, you can try to play the power hook shot. If you have a nice right to left tailwind or a decent straight tailwind, you could definitely try it. You'll be using your extra mile, power ball, and the shot's going to come in to this zone right here, bounce up, and then up that fairway. That right there is going to be where you can get into the thorn range. Theoretically, that's going to give you the best chance at the eagle on this hole, but you got to have all the working pieces, in order to get to that spot. You got to have the ball, you got to have the wind, and you got to have the correct club just to get yourself off the tee box to that position. You use max topspin and max, right spin. Well, you can use some left spin. You just want to make sure you don't use too much left spin and on a bad bounce go towards this rough. So I don't know. Max topspin, 3 bars of left spin would definitely be a good formula for that shot. And I believe that's it for hole number 5. Yep. All right, hole number 6 is next. And we've got a par 5 here. This is quite a fun par 5. Club-wise, I definitely say extra mile. You need to have that extra mile for this hole. Then for your second club, depending on what you're going to play to the left side, you either need to take a big dog or a sniper. Okay? Ball-wise, at least a Titan ball. If you want to go with a power 4 ball, that would definitely be a possible option as well. If we have tailwind off the tee box, then we can just go for one single bounce over this rough. Okay? If we have a side wind or a headwind, you may have to play the double bounce over this rough, where you bounce here, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, and then 3 bounce. So we'll just have to wait and see. More than likely get tailwind in the rookie, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, depending on how far you can get to the left side on that second fairway, will definitely determine on what kind of a shot you can play here. The most common and the most accurate shot is going to be the rough bump right there. Yes, the rough bump. Playing that shot, plus 5%. Off the tee box is plus 20%. So 20% for the tee box shot, 5% for the rough bump, whether you're using the big dog or the sniper. Okay? You're going to have at least 3 to 4 bars of topspin. So, check ahead of time what your club has and if it will be sufficient for that second shot. You definitely don't want to get to a point where you're getting ready to take your second shot and then you realize, oh, I've got the wrong club in. It doesn't have the topspin to play the shot. If you do find yourself in that position or you're farther back in this fairway area, you could also play the skip shot where you bounce on this fairway over and then to the hole that way as well. And that's definitely another option. I would play, a plus 10% from back here. So farther up, plus 5% for the rough bump, but farther back, plus 10%. The other option for this hole is to play a shot to the right side here. And from there, you're going to have a big dog through these trees, rough bump towards the hole. The green does slope back a little bit, so you can use the back edge of that green to kind of filter your ball back to the hole if you're playing from the right side. If you're not comfortable, you can also play a shot to the right fairway over here with a lot of left curl and left spin and take your ball back to the green that way as well if you're not comfortable playing through those trees, because it is possible if you don't hit perfect and you hit great, you can hit those trees and be in some trouble. So play whatever way is most comfortable to you and what guarantees you the best possible chance at the eagle. But if you want to try to play for the albatross, playing to the left side for the rough bump is going to be your best bet. Playing to the right side is plus 20% and then plus 10% on the second shot. And we got hole number 7 is next, and this is our third and final par 3. So for this par 3, long iron is going to be your most commonly used club, I would say. And as far as your ball goes, you want a ball with some side spin. So Quasar ball, or if Katana ball if you have them. Plus 10% off the tee box. And it's a pretty straightforward hole right here. You want to land your shot somewhere over here in this fairway. You don't want to get too close to this right edge, but you want to, give yourself enough distance to great right and still be okay. You're going to play this shot with a couple bars of topspin, somewhere around 1 to 2 bars of topspin. You want to land right here on that fairway, and then roll towards the hole. And you're going to use right spin to guide that shot towards the hole. So somewhere between 1 to 2 bars of topspin, and then max right spin to get that shot towards the hole. You do want to aim this shot just left the pin, and then let that ball funnel into the hole from that, along that green. There is kind of like a left to right funnel there. But in the same sense, there's also a funnel past the hole off the green as well. These greens does slope off the green. So if you go too far past the hole with any speed, your ball is going to roll down off the green. Too hard, maybe down here into this rough. So definitely, be very careful on the amount of topspin you're using, and try to dial that at topspin in quickly, because you can't afford to go down in that rough. That's a tough chip from back there in that rough area. All right, hole number 8 is next. And we've got par 4. This hole right here, it's been used a lot of different times. It's a fairly straightforward par 4 that it's basically, in my opinion, a must eagle. I like the quarterback here if you have a quarterback with enough topspin, but if you don't, extra mile suffices. Ball wise, a Marlin ball or the Quasar ball is definitely sufficient as well. Basically, in the rookie, there's really only one play. You're bouncing the shot off the fairway here in front of the bunkers, and then trying to land the shot right here in this rough with some topspin and right spin, roll out towards the hole. Anything on the green or the fairway is good. Too much missing, you end up in that rough past the green. You definitely don't want to do that. Misadjusted shots end up in this bunker right here, and that's definitely not a fun place to be either. Also, these bunkers in that rough is definitely in play as well. Plus 10% is going to be your elevation adjustment off the tee box for this shot. Now, the amount of topspin you're going to use on your drive definitely depends on the wind. So if you have tailwind, you're not going to need a lot of topspin, somewhere around 3 bars topspin. Side wind, 4 topspin. Headwind, 5 topspin. Do keep in mind we have extended ball guides and compressed ball guides. So if you have a tailwind, it's called the extended ball guide. That means the ball is going to land a little bit farther than where you aim, and the ball is actually going to roll farther. So keep that in mind. The compressed ball guide is it's not going to have as much carry because of the headwind. So if you have a side wind, I would definitely aim middle of the fairway of this rough and let it roll out. If you have tailwind, you're going to aim just a little bit farther back and just kind of like, you're basically, playing the shot, knowing the shot's going to land a little bit farther because of that tailwind effect. If you have a headwind effect, then you're going to play the shot, aim it a little bit closer to the front edge of that rough line, because you're counting on that headwind effect to push the shot back a little bit extra, even more than what you adjust for with your wind. So that's what we're talking about when you hear me say extended ball guide and compressed ball guide. The compressed ball guide is when the headwind pushes back and compresses that shot back towards you. The extended is when you have that tailwind and that extra wind push extends that shot line. Hopefully you all understand that. All right, so you can use side spin as you want on this hole. The more right spin you use, the more chance you have at the ace, but also the more chance you have to deal with this bunker right here. So definitely be very careful with the side spin you use on this hole. Too much could definitely end up costing you. Last but not least, we've got hole number 9 here. And this is a hole that you can play 2 different ways. You can play it to the right side or to the left side. If you play it to the left side, you're bouncing it over here and just trying to get up as far up the fairway as you can. If you're playing it to the right side, you want to play the rough bump here and bounce up the fairway, or try to play off this fairway right here and try to go up the fairway. You're trying to get up here to this top right edge of the fairway. So, elevations. If you play to the left side, 0%. If you're going to play to the right side, though, it's 10%, plus 10% for the right side, a rough bump or fairway shot. So keep that in mind when you are deciding which way to play. Now, the club that you're going to bring for these shots is the Extra Mile. And then the second club that you're going to bring is the Big Dog. Now, if you're going to play to the left-hand side, you could definitely think about playing with the Big Topper as well. That definitely would be an option. So let's talk about these second shots. The first one we're going to talk about is going to be from the right side. So from this shot right here, it's going to be minus 5%. And basically, depending on how far you are up the fairway, you either got to bounce your ball off that fairway there or fly it over and bounce it off that next layer of fairway. The difference between those two landing spots is basically topspin. If you're going to land it on this top fairway section, you're going to be using max topspin, 5-6 bars of topspin. If you're going to be playing it off the second fairway, you'll be playing about 3 bars of topspin. And you're really just trying to take that shot through that neck right there into the green. The green does slope back towards the hole, so you go to a little bit too far, you'll still be okay with the shot. Definitely don't worry about that. But definitely be careful of these bunkers right here. They could definitely get you. If you play the shot to the left side is going to be a little bit more problematic than the right side in the rookie. Chances are playing to the left side going to leave you taking a wood shot to that location. If you're not far enough up the fairway, you're possibly going to have to use some curl to go around these trees to get to that shot. And that definitely really makes that shot much more difficult. Now, if you can confidently get up that fairway and give yourself a clear shot towards the green, playing to the left side is not bad. But if you're not sure that you can get the distance on your drive, it's not going to be worth playing it to that left side. That second shot is definitely going to, I'm not going to say you won't always make it, but the chances are eventually you're going to slip up and be in that bunker or that rough. Playing it to the right side, I think definitely is the safer play here in the rookie. So let's see. For the second shot, for the left side, it is 0%. So going to the left is 0% both ways. Going to the right, plus 10 for the drive, minus 5 for the second shot, because you are taking the shot uphill. All right, y'all. That is the playthrough, or not the playthrough. That is the rookie guide for the upcoming outdoors tournament. So hopefully you all learned a thing or two here in this guide, and hopefully you all can apply this knowledge to your qualification round starting on Monday. So thank you all very much. Definitely check us out on Facebook at Golf Clash the 19th Hole. If you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me which of these holes is your favorite hole. Which of these holes are holes you worry about playing in the tournament. If you have any questions, definitely leave those in the comment section as well. Or you can visit the website on Facebook at Golf Clash the 19th Hole and leave a comment there in the community section. I encourage you all, if you do like this video, to check off the notification bell so that you can be notified when I do release videos and live content. Also, if you get a chance, check out my friend at Golf Clash Italy, Gio Viviani. Great little channel over there. Multiple streamers, and they're all from Italy. So, definitely a lot of fun is being had over there in that channel. Definitely check out Gio Viviani. He's got a new series that he's working on. It's basically like like a Road to Glory type of thing, but he's kind of he's playing a specific character in the series, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's entertaining for sure. So definitely check that out if you get a chance. All right, y'all, take care. Have a good day. God bless.